that that's not really super necessary since you're still going to have IGV getting the decent amount of farm on the Lina.
Yeah, I think if you look at it, the offlane Centaur is more valuable to zone out and keep from being able to get levels than the Slordar. In some ways, because Centaur I think needs more farm.
Okay.
Slordar is more of a sacrificial offlane where he just kind of wants his Blink Dagger. At the same time, his timing of the Blink Dagger is harder to acquire because Centaur does have at least some outs. Centaur is a lot more efficient at jungle than a Slordar is. So I think that's why he's fallen into the 4 position more than the offlane.
Yeah, and you can see now as well, Ghostic going to head in here, try and soak up, or rather take a good bit of farm for himself. Instead, Dogfights is going to be the one soaking experience. Also an Arcane Rune for Lina there. And actually,
you know what's going to be cool? He's going to pick up level 2 off of this. He could actually make a tree jump play, but Ghostic has actually got to back away and not finish off that one creep. Not sure if he kind of felt that Monkey King was around. Maybe he saw him.
They actually scanned up on the high ground with it.
Did they? Oh, okay. Good
Pretty
call.
sick
Good
play. So they're going to be able to spot that out. Centaur Warrunner had that poor man's shield building in towards the Iron Talon next, it looks like. And also Earth Spirit going to be picking up some boots. But guess who's spotting him up in the trees? It's Mr. Monkey King.
And Monkey King, he has a huge vision advantage. Fortunately, they nerfed some of it, but it is really problematic what the Monkey King is able to scout out. He's going to, again, be seeing Ghostic. The problem was, like, Ghostic now leaves his camp. It's empty. It's going to be empty until the 5-minute mark. He's going to try and go do this hard camp, but he leaves himself open to dogfights coming in and potentially finishing him off if he gets a bit too low.
Yeah, should realize that there is somebody in the area.
They're
actually going to roll in. Nice play there. They're going to pull in on the Monkey King. Get a little bit of help from the Satyr as well. Neutrals on the side of Empire. There's no home field advantage here.
Ghostic, give that one a high five. Get that Satyr a high five. Ah, man, that was sick. Empire planned that out really well. They're like, okay, we know this Monkey King's sitting on him. Let's just have Miposhka hunt him down as soon as he positions himself in the wrong place.
Yeah, and placing that ward up there as well early on, making sure that they, I mean, because how long has that ward been up there on that high ground? Has it been there since the very beginning? Okay, just placed it. So knew what was happening and took advantage.
They might have made a read off of like the Earth Spirit sitting there, and the Lina plays a little bit far back, and they're like, ooh, it looks like they know our Earth Spirit is here or something like that. Maybe they made a call off of that. Either way, just really smart move by Empire. Does give them slight advantage for this early laning phase, because you could see in July, he's getting a lot out of his off lane. He's level 4. Our Centaur's level 2. They needed something like that, right? They need a first blood, something for them to work off of, because this laning phase at a static age is not going well for them.
Yeah, and now you can see as well, IGV ready to get even more aggressive. Paparazzi chasing forward. It's going to be able to hit him. A nice little glimpse back. Ghostic in a hell of a lot of trouble. They bring in the Monkey King. He's not quite there with the Primal Spring, and now King R here as well. They're going to try and go on the chase, get the lift back. Could kill the tree. Thankfully, Monkey King jumped out of that one, but now Earth Spirit's rolling in. Sunstrike to follow. They stun onto 2. Paparazzi going to spin, but still a very much engaged brawl as Dogfights is going to get ran down. Can they find the kill, though? They do get the double edge with Ghostic. 3-0 to start for Empire.
He's going to have his Trinkle Boots off of that, which adds a lot more farm efficiency. If IGV continue to hold this stance where they zone out the Centaur as much as possible, he'll be able to make much better use of the jungle now. So that was a huge win for Ghostic all around. That's something I really appreciate about this newer Empire going into this tournament, is that their support rotations and even the rotations of some of their core really on point, a lot faster than they used to be.
Yeah, and you see right there as well from Paparazzi, they know that they want to make that move because he picked up those phase boots, but then he ends up overextending a little bit, and then you have all these other people that need to rotate in. So really good recognition. And
nope.
Well, that was a little bit of a short one, but yeah,
it's like he
still fine.
Missed the boulder drop there.
So early game, 3-0 start, but PA on this Chappie player, he's pretty good, got himself a nice bit of farm. How do you see the next couple of minutes working out? Are we going to keep seeing those types of rotations?
Empire, I think they should actually rotate their PA relatively early, because there's only so much that Earth Spirit and Centaur are going to be able to do for you. Centaur needs his Blink Dagger before he gets super active. King R's, he's running around with his boots here. That's
Invis Monkey King was stalking.
Monkey King flying courier.
That is just obnoxious. And now going to move in towards mid as well, and we'll see if they can make something happen for FN. Lina is all the way back home, needs to heal up, but can soak experience at least until that point.
They should really have, I think the early rotation from PA is maybe like you push out the lane and maybe make some sort of like TP mid play or something. I'd like to see him, he does have the TP, so he plans on rotating. I really like this. They bring him some items, that's sick as well. Because I would like them to see them shut down the Lina. Okay. Failing that, Jug is also an adequate kill as well. He's just harder to take out. A little bit tankier, has the turnaround potential with Omni Slash.
Well, and that's a lot of aggression that could come out early. In your eyes, is that something that this Empire lineup has to do? They need to make stuff happen pretty early, or?
No, they don't need to do that. I just feel like it's a good way to be able to get yourself a better laning phase setup.
Kata there just going to end up going away. Monkey King might have realized that he was in the area as well. That Salve just walking around, but that ward over there on the Dire Cliff as well, giving them pretty good vision, as well as a couple of wards there for Empire. Just a lot of emphasis placed on this middle lane. Yeah, they really want to make sure that this Earth Spirit doesn't get these repeated ganks onto the Lina that keeps her down. Oh my god, the stun going to connect, but Laguna Blade not enough for the kill, and they end up connecting on a Cicada, the rolling kick as well. They bring in Chappie, find themselves a kill. That is sick. Well played. I love that Chappie's willing to make these kind of rotations. It's so good. Because now, like, they just shut down the Lina. That really helps control, because what I'm looking at is IGV are going to have a very strong mid game, and they're going to hit super hard starting about, like, I would say 20 minutes. It kind of depends on what Angelai's Blink Dagger timing is, honestly, and when they can really start being active. But you don't want to let them like get that really hard hitting timing. So if you can start swinging at them a little bit beforehand, you know, make the first strike, kind of set IG back a step, I think that's really big for Empire going later on into the game. Well, and I mean, well, actually going to see another smoke move in towards mid. God, if they can get another one here, this would be tremendous. Cicada still very far forward, a somewhat squishy hero. But Cap, it feels like they realize that something's coming their way and maybe playing a little bit defensively. It's okay. They still get some aggressive vision down, even if they don't get them. It looks like they will. Oh my god, they're actually in there. There's the stunt. There's the catch. There's the Sunstrike. They find another kill. Ooh, Empire has come out swinging, and, well, Chappie now, under a little bit of duress himself, is going to get ran down, but the blink away, they're able to save. No. Pulling back in. There's the glimpse. Chappie still trying to run. Is he going to get lucky with his dodges? Oh, they just commit the Omni Slash. Paparazzi's had enough. Omni Slash force, that's okay. Paparazzi making a similar maneuver here. I think he did have a TP for that. They just kind of caught the PA pretty far forward. So good move by him. Paparazzi, that's the big difference. I feel like IGV do have some very clear big-time star players. Paparazzi and Dogfights have a lot of potential moving forward in Dota. Empire doesn't have quite the same, but I think they function a little bit better as a team, maybe. Ghostic has been obviously some really standout performances, and maybe he is a big CIS player to look out for. Absolutely. Chappie is, well, maybe going to make a name for himself here on the PA. If he can make this hero work, he can make anything work. They're going to pull back in for a moment. Maposhka in some trouble. The rolling boulder not going to be enough to get away. They've actually turned on a super, get the silence on him, but there's going to be the crush. Sunstrike trying to find a kill on a super, not going to be there. They do save Chappie's life, but great heads-up play there. Just went back for the glimpse to create that separation. Yeah, it's a little bit sad. Empire, this is why we want Chappie to rotate, because the other two cores, Invoker and Centaur, they're not as capable of being able to make those rotations. That's why IG feel good about making aggressive rotations into the safe lane. They know they're not going to get countered, right? So they're able to jump a hero like PA or Earth Spirit first, and they know that, like, the rotation simply will come. They just have to worry about a Sunstrike, and that's kind of it. Yeah. Oh, and looking at the game now, the state of it, you've got the Midas completed for FN at this point in time, and Lina has just really been hampered in the early stages. You can see right there as well the net worth below the Centaur at this point. How worrying is this for this type of hero? It is pretty worrying. The only way you really scale is if you have a net worth lead, I feel. There's still going to be this window. I think this is definitely going to be your not Samael. You've already died a couple times because Empire's being so aggressive on you. Go for the minus respawn timer on the Lina, and you can probably act like somewhat of a disposable hero as long as you're creating opportunities for the Juggernaut. Well, here comes a movement. They are going to see Paparazzi rotating into this lane, as well as another rotation coming in.
Oh, maybe they don't.
Stampede, there's the glimpse back. They're going to get the lift, though, onto Paparazzi, and that's going to allow Ghostic to try the TP. Stomp's not quite there, trying to jump away from this one. Almost kills off the Monkey King, and now the Sunstrike. Good dodge back. Dog fights. He knew what was up.
IGV just keep on reading these Sunstrikes so well. The whole entire team has just dodged one after the other. Angel Eye's in trouble, though.
Look at all this movement around the map. There's going to be a Crush that comes out trying to get on top of Angel Eye. The Phantom Strike is going to allow that closing of the gap, and Chappie finds the kill.
Yeah, Angel Eye is just not, like, repeatedly dying on the sword there is not real feel good. They got him the tower kills earlier because of Paparazzi's rotation. It was a huge boost of gold. He was able to be a part of kill, and now he just kind of fed it back into the coffers of Team Empire. And you could see Centaur's now closer to that Blink Dagger, despite the Slaughter's early tower bounty. Another tower bounty. Paparazzi using his Juggernaut very well. He's this scary hero that nobody really wants to contest too much, so he makes for a perfect tower pusher early on. Healing ward, and then your combined skill set is too dangerous for most heroes to contest.
Well, and so that's something that I'm a little bit curious about as well. Is there any type of like item build that you need to go in particular for these cores since you're a little bit further behind? Like he's building towards that Manta. Do you like that decision? What's that allowing him to get here?
Let's see, Manta, I think that's fine. He's got a silence to deal with from the Earth Spirit.
Wow. Quick jump in again. Can they break it? Looks like the answer is no. Ghostic just going to get out. They get the Stampede. Chappie jumps up. He wanted to get aggressive on a Paparazzi, but they could not quite find the kill. Sunstrike coming in is way off the mark, but well, it was blind.
Again, IGV just keep on dodging the Sunstrikes. They never run backwards in one direction. FN, like he's getting the farm he needs to, but this Invoker is looking a little bit lackluster as a mid because the Sunstrikes aren't connecting. It's also because Empire aren't setting the tempo first. They've got to get that Blink Dagger online for this Centaur in order for them to be able to go for smoke rotations and have a guaranteed Sunstrike land. Get the blink in, hit the stun. You've got a big 400 damage pure nuke that's going to follow that.
Well, and you think about it, too. That was so much committed early on, trying to kill off Ghostic. Now, about to finish off his Blink Dagger. He doesn't have to worry about Static Storm. You know, Juggernaut Omni Slash is still there. It's just not going to end up being probably as likely to finish off a kill if, you know, there's not more heroes around to make it happen. But Cicada farms out the jungle. TP's back towards mid. Going to continue to try and play this catch-up game, and he's done it fairly well so far.
Yeah, Empire, you could see how scared they are, right? They've got like 5 heroes all hovering around the mid area. I honestly thought that our Centaur was going to be caught in the top lane because it was such an interesting play by IGV to stick around there. They really want to stop this Blink Dagger from being picked up because they know that's when Team Empire can actually make better use of some of their heroes. And so what I kind of expected is that IGV would make rotations into the enemy safe lane, they invade the jungle, and that's kind of what Empire, they're giving complete credit to IGV for any of those aggressive rotations. They're not going into their jungle at all. Even PA, like an attempted gank there from the Lina, trying to catch him while she's jungling, but he was kind of playing careful that whole entire time. So they're giving huge credit to what IGV can accomplish with these rotations while they're off map, and you could see most of their vision is centered around the mid area and trying to cover rotations through the mid lane. So you've got this one ward, 2 wards towards the top side, covering kind of the Roshan area, and then one near the bottom tier 1. So they don't really see a whole lot of heroes. They're just playing it safe. I like that.
Yeah, totally. And it's waiting for those first couple of items to come online. PA there had one of the Mithril Hammers done, so you're getting close to that Deso. And then once those items do come online, you got that ability to make the rotation. Look at that tree. It is just jigging all over the place right now.
You know, I learned this recently. We were playing at the LAN during one of our days off, and Fogged told me, I watched Merlini turn on all of the quality settings.
Okay.
And he turned on something called tree detail.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, wait, what? I was like, what does that do? And he's like, versus Monkey King, when you see Monkey King jumps onto a tree, it actually jiggles a little bit. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, when he just jumps on it, jiggles a little bit.
Pay to win. I can't believe it.
I kind of like, yeah, you know, it kind of like gives you a little bit of a. Of course, that's just what they told me. So,
all right.
I don't know how true that is or how big of a deal it is. But then I started noticing. I was like, I looked around. I was like, the tree does jiggle when he jumps on it, and maybe that's something that you can.
Take it to your pubs, everybody. A little bit of trivia there for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, but look at this guy, 2,200 gold. He was sitting in that top lane at 2K.
Yeah.
How many other offlaners would have just been like, I'm just 200 gold away. I'm just going to take this extra camp. Like, I doubt they're sitting like 3 heroes here in this top lane. I'm just going to farm one more creep wave.
Right.
He would have been caught at 2K gold, knocked down to maybe 1,800 or something like that. Would have been, off the map for 30 seconds, would have been dead. That's your Blink Dagger timing reduced by like almost a full 2 minutes. Instead, he's going to have it by 14:30. They're going to be able to make their first aggressive play. Ideally with the smoke, because as we know, IGV do have some very aggressive wards. Again, centered around trying to find the Centaur. You could see both of them are kind of covering the offlane camp area. So they were trying to focus on that. Those wards could catch out the first couple of rotations. That first big rotation with the Blink Dagger could be spotted. So hopefully they go for a smoke gank.
Well, and the thing that I'm thinking about, too, is that if they do find that, you can still show the Invoker in lane. Sunstrikes have not necessarily been on point, but if you get a quick hook stomp down there, there's not a whole lot that you can do to respond to that Sunstrike coming in. So, no Force Staffs obviously online. That might be something that we end up seeing IGV go back for in the later stages, is Force Staffs to help deal with the PA. She jumps on top of one target, you create that little bit of separation so that way you don't blow up. That being said, if you get PA big enough, then maybe you don't have time to force step away because they're just going to melt you anyways.
PA really drops off as a hero. It's kind of similar to Ursa when you start getting, when the supports start getting luxury items, right? It's not so much about the cores. It's about when the supports start getting Force Staffs and Ghost Scepters. I do feel like the more Diffuser Blade became a much more common pickup to be able to deal with these Ghost Scepters and make sure that the PA had a little bit more sticking time. You even saw on some Ursas as well. So they had a much better sticking time. They didn't immediately drop off as soon as these items were picked up. But it did still eventually become a problem. So I think you're right. Force Staffs would be quite helpful. Slardar will probably get one. Disruptor kind of depends on how he feels. Maybe he feels Glimmer Cape is more warranted.
Yeah.
Monkey King, though, I think he'll start transitioning into... he picks up his Midas, and then who knows? I think he probably tries to transition into a core like most Monkey Kings do. Have a Basher and roll on RNG. Let out that ultimate and just hope that somebody blinks in and gets insta-bashed.
That EG game the other day when we saw Zai playing it and just constantly, there was that one fight where he had 10,000 damage dealt in the team fight, the most on any team, and I was just like, how is this a hero? It can just be so incredibly powerful. And likewise, Lina, this is another one of those heroes. Granted, in this game, it hasn't shown itself as much so, 0 kill participation, but it of course is something that comes online a little bit later, and it's proven to be an incredibly strong meta hero.
Yeah, I think it's kind of replaced the Queen of Pain in some ways, in that early on we had this active mid that was able to scale quite a bit. Lina is now taken over that spot that used to be occupied, and she's able to scale going into the late game as well. The Slardar was such a great pick for them. Slardar really does amplify the Lina's output of damage so much more. Your 45-minute window is kind of awkward for a Lina because you're still, you still don't really hit hard, but when you have Corrosive Haze on top.
They're on top, and that's going to be a quick kill onto King R. So something that IGV certainly are going to be happy about. With the Blink Dagger finished now for Ghostic, might be a moment where we go for that smoke, although it is now going to be revealed as well.
Yeah,
and
spotted.
Slardar actually had the Midas queued up, but he goes back for the Blink Dagger now. So these timings identical, and IGV know that Empire has it. Is there a play there where they try and go for some type of a counter smoke thing?
Possibly. You probably don't want to overthink it too much, because you can never be fully settled on what the enemy team is going to do. For example, I would have expected Empire to probably, meet up at the tier 2 mid, smoke up, push out through mid and into the enemy jungle or something. But instead, they're following this push through bottom lane. So they're kind of baiting Chappie right now. IGV, they're playing pretty safe, right? They don't know if a smoke gang's coming, for example. They are also not rotating towards that bottom lane because they know this timing is just not good for them to do anything but potentially smoke gank as maybe a 5-man crew. I don't think they should do anything without Juggernaut because they don't know what Empire's up to.
And they're actually all grouping up, and they do have that smoke, so they're going to go for, not
Roche?
that play, but in towards Roshan instead.
Yeah, they made the bait. They read the bait play. and they're going to try and take advantage of that bad positioning from Empire, all sitting behind them. But Empire have already made a rotation of their own, and they do have the opportunity to contest now if they can just sense it out.
Right. The unfortunate thing is that IGV do have a lot of wards in the area. This Roshan is falling rather rapidly. Now, will Empire come over to contest? It looks like they realize something is going on now. They do have Stampede. Poshka thinking about going in. They're going to roll in. They're on top of it. The huge combination. It is a Monkey King ultimate on top of all of it. The Chaos Meteor is down as well, but it doesn't look like it's enough for Empire. They've walked into hell, and it looks like IGV are the ones coming out on top.
Well, Rubik picks up the consolation kill on Lina. That was really nice. Boy, that combination was so close to being good. If Empire could have just made that read maybe like 5 seconds earlier, right? The Invoker gets there sooner, and they don't just have a Sunstrike. Maybe they have a really good Meteor Blast that follows up the jump-in stop. Dogfight was in beautiful position, though. Sitting on the outside like that. He wasn't for earlier, then he jumped away to the tree just at the right time.
Oh, man. Getting that Monkey King ultimate inside of Roche.
Does Paparazzi get the spin-off before the stun?
Yes, he does. That's what ended up really spelling the doom.
Right? Because then Chappie's in the middle of that with the Disruptor ulti and a spin on him, and he's just trying to target this Juggernaut. If the Juggernaut doesn't get that spin off, he gets hit by the Stomp, they're going to burst him down. Like, they'll target that Jug first because he's such a big damage output. And then, boom, they could actually potentially still win that fight despite being in a Disruptor or Static Storm and a Monkey King ultimate at the same time.
Well, that certainly gave a lot of life to IGV and the crowd. There is going to be a pick-off there as they take down the Lina, crush forward onto 2. Can they find more? Boundless Strike interrupted. Oh, great play there by the Earth Spirit, able to get the silence, and now the stun to follow.
That's a big one.
The 3. Oh, beautiful, beautiful plays coming out.
Nina's
Empire turning
back,
it. In July, going to be disarmed for the moment. Wants that bounty rune before he dies. Chappie says no. Double for him.
Oh, man, that was sick. Maposhka, really clutch play there, as you pointed out, managing to stop that Boundless Strike, managed to get the 2-man stun that led into the Centaur Stomp as well. I thought for a second IGV might have been able to turn the tail end of that fight with Lina coming back in, but maybe he didn't have a TP, or it might have just been too late to actually fight that one out. Yeah, it was still on cooldown. I thought they were going to fall into that Lina trap, where you're like, oh, Lina's dead, guys. We can still fight. And then next thing you know, she's back there again. And they got a mid-tower off of that, too. Empire, that's such a big swing.
Yeah, this is a great moment for them as well after that disastrous Roche fight. And now, the next couple of minutes, again, looking quite good for Empire. You're building into this 4-staff next for the Centaur. And FNG up on the high ground, just going to drop another one of these Chaos Meteors down and clear out the creep wave to the best of his abilities. IGV, though, going to stick around with that healing ward, make sure they get the tower.
What's cool is, like, Empire, they lost that fight, but they're like, okay, Static Storm, I'm not sure if Omni Slash was used in that Roshan fight, but it was like, they're not going to be ready to fight, so let's just get aggressive again. And then IGV are doing something similar. We just lost an engagement, but let's get aggressive anyway because we know they won't really be ready to fight. Empire isn't very cooldown reliant, but they're probably just from a positioning angle, need to be able to heal up, back out, spread out, and farm. So they just go straight for that mid-tier 1.
Well, they definitely have that ability to stay constantly aggressive, even just with the low cooldowns on all of these. And now Sakata finishing off that Bloodstone. So this does kind of reset things in a certain way, I feel, because all of those early kills on Lina, you can start to build up those Bloodstone charges as well. Allows you to farm a little bit more quickly, things like that. And now just going to trade off these towers. So in terms of the difference in net worth between these two teams, we can see, on the graph that it's not really going to be that huge of a difference at this point, only about 3,000.
Tier 2. It's just kind of tier 2 bounty. I think your tier 2 safe lane is always one of the hardest towers to defend, so it's not a gigantic win. Ooh, 4-staff there for the Centaur is his pickup. That's an interesting choice rather than going for like the Hood of Defiance against a lot of this magic damage.
What does that speak to you for what they want to try and accomplish? Like, is it just they want to try and finish the game as quickly as possible? Because I feel like sometimes the Hood is more farming oriented.
No, I think it's just to kind of work around the initiation of Slardar. He initiates, he gets that stun, then the LSA is going to follow up. I think it's more to work around that. Same goes like Boundless Strike could follow that up or something like that. So they've got this combination of stuns on IGV that you want to be able to to deal with. So we're going to see, like, I mean, both these teams, not super cooldown reliant, pretty active, very mid-game heavy, and they're also probably going to get a lot of force staffs and that sort of thing. So we're going to have some really fun team fights, Gabe. That's what I'm saying.
I'm super stoked. It's also worth noting that Lina is still a little bit further behind the Invoker, does have the Midas on the Invoker, so that's something to maybe expect a little bit. But do you think that she's going to be fulfilling her role, picking up this Shadow Blade next?
If IGV can have, like, 2 big team fights in a row, then I would say Lina can possibly match the Invoker in output in this game and like what you're accomplishing. But it's looking like right now, Empire's been able to do so much to be able to buy space for FN. He's about to come online soon. If we check out the Invoker, what level is he? He's like, I think he's hitting his peak. Yeah, he's 17. Like level 15 with the Ags. We're also going to have the BKB up about this time for Chappie, and I think he's finishing off in the jungle right now. So they're going to get that time. I think they should. This is the time to fight.
Oh, and they think that so as well, as they're going to take down this Lina. Actually gets the Bloodstone Suicide off, but nonetheless, that is a start of the aggression to come out. And we've seen FN's Invoker go off. That was something that the panel was wondering about earlier, is how well he was going to be able to do it, and just had a fabulous display of it the other day.
IGV are going to go for a pretty fast smoke play here, straight into the enemy jungle. Might just catch something. Chappie does have his BKB, though.
All right, counter play could come out in a second. They're actually turning it. Ghostic on top of him. They throw down the Static Storm. It does hit onto 2. Chappie with that BKB just eliminates Super, eviscerated in the jungle. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I think everyone else from IGV should be able to get out.
It's 2 picks and Static Storm used as well. This is feeling like another one of those opportunities. They actually found the Lina. They are on top of her. Light Strike Array is going to hit. Dogfights is there as well to get a counterplay. Laguna Blade stolen by the Rubik. Oh my word.
Now they might even be able to catch a little bit more. Monkey King just ahead of the Earth Spirit, and Slardar hiding away in the jungle, so they're okay there. So what, 3 pickoffs off that team fight? Turnaround, the BKB timing is obviously what made a lot, but that Centaur stomp, the counter initiation there from the supports and the offlaner, again, perfect timing by them. They have pulled so much of their weight. Let's just hope these cores pull through, because these supports and the offlane deserve a win.
Stun on the Monkey King, but he is still going to be there. They force step to the low ground. Ghost Stick looking like he had the Ags, but it was just the force step to get him away. Chappie throws the dagger, going to blink to his friend, but will be pulled back in now. But the stun, turnaround, magnetize, it's onto 2. Ghost Stick jumps in with nothing. They are both going to drop for that one, and I don't know if it's going to end up being worth it. King R jumps up onto the tree, is going to go for the primal spring onto Sakata. No mana, he just wants to punch him in the head. They are going to bring down that disruptor.
Again, like the supports in the offlane just pulling this out. Empire, both Miposhka and
King R,
and
my God.
King R's been done pretty well, but I really think it's the 3 and 4 position. They've done so much work. They saved Chappie, or at least managed to like make that fight look real good for Empire once again. Level 20 Invoker, very rapidly closing in on level 25. I don't think IGV have much of an out anymore. Like, I do believe that Empire have the better late game simply because of the Invoker. I think it scales better than the Lina or the Juggernaut. PA drops off, though, so it's kind of questionable. But still, like, Empire are going to be super strong for the next 20 minutes when I thought IGV, their best timing window was going to be around 30, 35, and hopefully close out the game by 50. But I'm still not fully set. Oh no, we missed the force staff kill.
Oh no. Well, they still will be able to go for the Stampede. Chappie with the DD rune wanted to jump there onto the Monkey King. They get the lift back. Oh, King R using his own abilities against him.
You can't fool me. Can't fool me with that tree disguise.
Look at King R here. The Rubik animations when he steals somebody's spells are just one of my favorite things about Dota.
Oh yeah, the Bat Rider Firefly steal, and he rides his stick with like a broomstick.
Yeah, it's great.
Free Roshan? Probably. IGV, I'm not sure what their timings are really going to be, though. Jug, is he close to anything? I'm sure the Lina is not.
Well, Diffusal Blade.
Diffusal. That was another thing, obviously, we didn't think about, is the Force Staff on the Centaur, killing trees. Great way to be able to catch the Monkey King a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I mean, he's farmed towards that next item. You've talked about how impressive Ghost Stick has looked on this Centaur, and you know, started early on being able to dodge and get away from those ganks that were coming his way before the Force Staff, as they have found a bash now onto FN, the tornado to lift, turning it back around. Paparazzi, they are going to be slowing him down with that Fusel Blade, but Ghostic gets the Force Staff to make his escape, and now the rest of the side of Empire is starting to show up there. On top of Paparazzi, gets the stun. Meanwhile, the lift on the other side of the fight. Chappie is there as well. Sunstrike not going to connect, but it does look like they're still going to be able to stun and kill off that Juggernaut.
Empire just always maintaining what is close to a 5-man vigilance. They know IGV are getting pretty desperate. They knew their timings, like with that Blink Dagger timing, right? They grouped up around the mid area, didn't let themselves get picked off. Empire, I think, are just reading very well how this kind of lineup is supposed to operate for IGV, and countering with just kind of like, not fully conservative movement, but a general group up that disallows pickoffs.
Well, they're going to jump now onto that Slaughter. Actually ended up catching off more than they thought they would. Ghostic going to run away, and it does look like he will make his escape. But they bring down the Earth Spirit. It's a start. It's something. IGV needed something.
Oh, yeah. They're going to need a lot more something. FN still has not, like, had that big Invoker impact yet. And we know it's coming because FN really does put out those performances.
Oh, no. Paparazzi. They're not going to be able to catch up with him. Also in that last fight, Rubik did steal Laguna Blade as well. Not sure if he actually is going to quite have the mana pool to use all of his spells at this point. That was pretty...
He's like, all right, telekinesis the Laguna Blade. That's all I got, guys.
You know, almost has a Blink Dagger as well. So this is feeling to be Empire just in control of this game in a way that we haven't seen Invictus Gaming play, at least in this series so far. So I'm trying to figure out, do you feel like the thing that led to this lead was more decision-making, the draft, the way that worked out? What's your read on how we've gotten here?
I think, first of all, Empire did the right things, like moving Chappie pretty early, ganking the Lina a whole bunch, particularly important.
Oh, no. Super.
Wow.
Well, there's a crush. He might pay for this one. They do have a Laguna Blade. Going to turn it. Ghost Scepter as well as the Force Staff, but it is not enough to save Chappie. This is one of the problems with this hero, is that you can get picked off and killed by his high magical damage.
Yeah, even like if this Lina was having a better game, for example, we would see the Aghanim Scepter upgrade be there, or at least be close to there by now, but he's not even close. Looks like, is that a Silver Edge he's got queued up? What's that recipe?
Boots of Travel.
Yeah. He's got brown boots. So Boots of Travel, that's probably for the best. They got to play a pretty split pushy style now. I think they need to split push and see if they can force Empire to break apart sometimes and then get the pickoffs, you know, like if bottom and top are both pushing in, Empire has to deal with both lanes. Maybe they split up and you can get some kills off of it.
There's a blink forward. Oh, Rubik with the help of the Laguna Blade. They find the kill on the Paparazzi. And when you can have the support in the off lane solo the carry like that, this hero Juggernaut that's supposed to be survivable, supposed to allow you to be ungankable, it just makes it so difficult.
Yeah, before all he was worried about was Earth Spirit getting the instant silence on him. Because he would see Centaur blink stomp, or he would see a boulder coming, and he would always know to spin. But now with Rubik having a blink dagger, they can no longer leave the Jug alone in these side lanes to split push, so that then inhibits what we're talking about, right? One of the ways that IGV could come back into this game, or at least stall it up, would be utilizing these two cores to push out waves.
Yeah. Basher done as well for Chappie, so even if it is a situation where it turns into a fight, you can't even necessarily rely upon spin TP any longer.
Yeah, they've got the Aghanim ulti for the Centaur to help counter some of that burst damage when it comes Chappie's way, and he's not going for an Abyssal Blade. He's actually going for a heavier stat and more of a late game item in the Scotty. He'll go back for the Abyssal, but I do kind of like the idea of this Scotty and just trying to survive through the burst of Lina and Juggernaut.
And FN is also so farmed right now. Octarine Core Aghanims with the Blink Dagger. It is a struggle right now to be IGV, that is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we keep on saying this about FN, like he's super farmed, and it's just like his team's just kind of been winning the game for him. It's not like he has had no impact, but he hasn't had to have the big Invoker impacts that we've needed to see a lot of the times. That usually starts now, right?
Yeah.
So, FN, if we don't close it out in the next 5 to 10 minutes, it will be your time to shine throughout this late game scenario. Kind of feeling, though, I think Empire is going to close it out. I think they're going to secure the next Roshan, get Aegis, and they don't have the best high ground pushing team. but I think it'll work just because they're so far ahead.
So for IGV then, we're looking for the dream fight, the thing that, you know, allows them to get back into this. What does that start to look like? Is it dependent upon jumping the supports first, or do you need to try and take down the Invoker?
I think if you can, getting the initiation onto the Invoker or PA and eliminating one of those heroes with your Laguna Blade would be pretty damn sweet. I don't think they can fight with Invoker or PA having no impacts. So that would be really good, but kind of unlikely. They simply can't let Empire take Roshan and go high ground and feel like the team fight. Empire would get their positioning kind of right. You need Empire to screw up their positioning, so your AoE, like the Boundless Strike, the ultimate from the Monkey King, Static Storm, Slardar Crush, like those things have more than just one hero impacts. So you kind of in some ways need to push out when it's time for Roshan, catch them around that area.
Yeah. And you can see right here, IGV knowing that the perfect time to fight is not when Empire is completely missing off the map, and most likely 5-man smoking, which they were. And Empire, they scan the high ground, spot out that's going on. The other thing to keep in mind is that you also have that Centaur Axe, which was completed a little while ago, so there's even better potential for, you know, the side of Empire to get out of in a big team fight. It does look like the entire IGV team pretty much is going to be scouted underneath this ward.
They spotted that.
They smoke under it. Oh no, this could be a tragedy up by the shrine. It doesn't look like Empire want to try and take the fight. They're just going to back out.
They had the Invoker TP and push out bottom, so he was kind of working his way back through the jungle, so they couldn't make a quick 5-man unit in order to counter this smoke, so much better just play conservatively. They go into their shrine area, a big high ground area, and obviously the shrine with the rejuvenation is quite helpful as well. So IGV think they had to go for a smoke like this, but at the same time, I think they really need a gem. There's so much aggressive vision. They know Empire have had good control of the game for quite some time, so they really needed to get some of those aggressive wards out of the way first before they made this kind of play. Still, though, maybe the aggressive wards and they maintain an aggressive stance where the wards simply aren't. Maybe this could still work out for IGV, even if the initial smoke has not.
And I mean, Chappie here can just sort of bait things out because there's always that backup of Aghanim Scepter Stampede. So there's no way that IGV can just initiate on a Chappie at the start. Not enough burst damage there, I don't believe.
Yeah, he's got 2,300, and then you take away 40% of that from the damage reduction of the Aghanims from Centaur. So yeah, you simply, thanks in part to this stat build and also the Aghanim Scepter, you just won't have the burst most likely.
So 33 minutes into it, it's 24-13. We've seen Empire take control and basically dominate the map from now on, but IGV have been able to at least hold off the bleeding that was occurring earlier. In your eyes, what is it that they're going to need to start pulling themselves back into this game? Do they have to team fight their way out of it? Can they just try and go for split pushing and farming up and getting to that next tier of items?
No, I don't think there's very few lineups that can win through split pushing in this meta, and it certainly isn't what IGV's is. They do have to fight. It's just about picking and choosing their windows, and maybe this is one FN would be, again, a really sweet quick pick, but simply not feeling comfortable with it. They saw the PA at top, but they didn't know where the other heroes were.
Yeah, and the other thing there as well was that you did have that ward up on the high ground, so even though there was the chance to jump on the Invoker with everybody so close at hand and Aghanim Stampede available, Empire is playing this so disciplined.
Yeah, they are. That is the first thing that stood out to me. Early rotations, grouping up as a 5-man unit, I think it was just all discipline. That is one Empire this game. IGV, I think they're instilling some discipline of their own, though. They didn't immediately jump on some of these pickoffs. They're waiting for some of their item progression before they try and fight again. The Aghanim Scepter for the Lina is essential to be able to quickly deal with this Phantom Assassin. So we'll see if they can actually fight around Roshan, but you can already see Empire trying. They're not grouping up in the pit.
Right.
They're making sure IGV don't get a free jump.
And there's still that ward that's up on the high ground there as well that's scouting all of this out from IGV, but getting into position now to come and contest, but the Aegis is already down. FN has it. That's IGV, okay. Oh man.
They didn't have a better choice. There was no way. They forced that fight. It's just going to go terrible for IGV. Better to look for better opportunity in your high ground defense.
Still a scary prospect. I guess the one thing that you do again have on IGV is that Monkey King ulti with the Basher completed. This is going to be something that Empire can't just run into.
No, they really can't. It is really disruptive in team fights. What I would like to see is Empire just kind of chip away. Even have the Centaur stand in that tier 3 area. Just let the tier 3 take some shots and slowly chip away at that. See if you can force IGV to get a little bit outside of their base to initiate. Maybe they obviously don't want to give away the tier 3 for free, right? That's going to be Shrine. So.
Well, here's a start. There's a jump forward. The counterplay out with the tornado. A little bit off the mark there since the Centaur jumped in and was already stunned, but it looks like they're still going to be able to run down at least the Monkey King. So no penalty for him. He's gone for 40 seconds. It looks like they are going to be able to continue to take this fight as FN in a little bit of trouble. Does still get forced step away. He's going to be fine. Chappie on top of Sakata. They throw out the Magnetize as well. In July trying desperately to find these kills, but nobody is dying. They do finally bring down Chappie. That is a big kill, and it looks like with that, Empire will retreat. Healing Ward lasted the entire duration.
I had to say, Sakata, props to him. I think it's props. I don't know. He could have just finished off FN with the Laguna Blade, but then you would have a full HP Chappie you couldn't deal with. He tried to kind of get both.
Oh no, and now they found him. So this is going to be the Lina most likely dying as they find the Sunstrike. Godlike for FN. They are going to jump forward. Paparazzi trying to bring down FN. That is going to be the Aegis, but can they find any more if they want to? Ghostic could turn onto this in just a second. There's going to be the crush, but the blink out. FN's too quick. And now stampeding away.
Now they're all too quick.
Yeah.
All full movement speed. Well done. Empire executed that really well. They just lost their Aegis. They got tier 3. Shrines are open. They'll take those next. Losing Chappie, I think, was perfectly acceptable for that. How many buybacks and stuff they forced. So IGV just, like, they got initiated on, and you couldn't afford to let that happen. They lost their 2 supports, neither of which got off an ultimate, and neither of which had buyback. So from there, Empire was just going to overwhelm you.
I mean, in terms of the macro sense of this game, though, losing a tier 3 tower there for the Aegis and not losing any of the lane of racks, isn't that relatively okay at this point?
I mean, they just didn't get enough, right? It wasn't like they just lost a tier 3. They also invested buybacks, one of which was the Juggernauts. That's really important. They're going to lose their shrines. So Paparazzi just took a hit in farm, and he's going to take a further hit in farm when he doesn't have the same kind of map control they once had. It's tough. It could have been worse, right? It definitely could have been worse. Part of that was Sakata holding on to his Laguna Blade, not just killing the Aegis of the Invoker, looking to kill the big hero of Chappie. 4 Bloodstone charges, though.
Ugh. Yeah, it's a hard life.
You're getting close to that throwaway territory.
So another thing here, we saw for the Earth Spirit, he's actually gone and instead decided to pick up a Solar Crest. What do you think about this choice? I've heard a lot of people say that this item is broken, that they think it's underused.
Yes, I think it is very strong. Works really well with the PA in this regard. You put the minus armor on some hero. Also, maybe helping out whoever's amplified and being targeted. So maybe the Invoker is jumped on. He gets amplified. You can help save him a little bit of grief, that extra armor. Yeah, Solar Crest has once again become a very value item. It seems to have this, it's very delicate to balance this item because it is such a big sway against physical damage and also used offensively that it's either going to, I think, always be an item that is either overly picked or completely ignored.
Right. Well, we'll have to see if they're able to blow things up. Certainly with all of this high physical damage that you got on this team, makes it quite difficult to deal with. And the movement in towards the top barracks, IGV not completely set up for this. And looks like Empire going to get a free couple pot shots onto that barracks. Actually, the Phantom Strike back from Chappie is able to dodge the stun from In July. That was fancy.
Yeah, he really wants to make sure he doesn't have to use his BKB for a poke.
Dogfights, they're there. There's a jump forward.
Can they finish
him?
Some
trouble is going to be dropped low, but Chappie turns to fight, is going to jump forward for more. Dogfight's already dropping low, as too is In July. He throws out the stun, but Chappie doesn't care. Back up to full HP. My goodness gracious. This man hits hard and is going to try and chase down a bit more. Is an Omni Slash, though. Going to start to bounce around a little bit. FN not going to drop to it, but they did end up losing that Rubik.
I like the fact that he blinked backwards there. Juggernaut knowing melee racks is gone. Maybe they can get a pick on somebody on the way back. Chappie?
Well, there's a glimpse back, but Tornado possibly saving that disruptor from a crit. Instead, it's just going to jump on a super yet again. FN is the one that finds the kill. But they are just running all over IGV. Empire don't care. They are going to take another tier 3 tower here, possibly another lane of barracks. And if it continues like this, the game as well. Sunstrike to land onto the Lina. Sakata explodes. Huge crits, and barracks going to drop.
Nothing they can really do now. They got to wait for their supports. So just, you're going to have to fight this out with one lane of racks left.
Well, they are going to find a kill onto the Earth Spirit. So that's something, but Chappie decides to turn now. It's going to jump onto Sakata, stunned for the moment, but will finally fall. The shrines are no salvation. Chappie continuing to dive on this PA. They're finding kills. It's actually FN that keeps on picking them up, but GG is going to be called. Empire too strong.
They really were. I'm a believer of Empire right now. Like, I'll tell you, I felt like throughout this, some of their plays, some of their strategies, I was like, okay, I can get with it. You know, it's a little bit off the norm.
Yeah.
Surprise some teams and stuff, but this time around, I think they showed like something a little bit advanced, like something a truly like top tier team can do, right? Reading timings of the enemy team and saying, this is when we need to like kind of group up and play this 5-man. This is when we need to stay disciplined. The calm control of the map as they slowly take more and more and more. I think Empire just played an absolute fantastic